you're effectively kicking this issue into the long grass.
Sorry, it's not a point of order. Thank you. We move on. So I move the recommendation. Agreed? Yeah, thank you. We now move on, finally, to hear Joyce Cameron. The officer will bring you forward, and our governance manager will explain procedures. Can I say, just to advise members, that I received in my possession today a 12,000 type signature petition, all with regard to the generality of on Howden Park Centre, which will be our next paper, and just to let everyone know what's going to happen to that, and I'll ask James Miller, our governance manager, to explain.
Chair, in relation to the petition, officers will consider it against the terms of Standing Order 13(2) and decide what should happen to it.
Okay, thank you. Right. Joyce, do you wish to refer to you as Joyce Cameron or Joyce? Is that all right? James, can you explain procedure, please, to Joyce Cameron?
Congratulations on your stamina, Ms Cameron. You have 5 minutes to address the committee in terms of your deputation request. Members will then have the chance to ask you questions, which you of course can answer. And after the questions and answers, you have 2 minutes to sum up what has gone before. I think you're aware of this, Ms Cameron, but I'll say it for the benefit of the members that if you can stick to the general policy around this, this is not the time for you to make any suggestions or speak in support of any particular submission that might be made about carrying on the business in the Howden Park Centre or elsewhere.
Hello, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come along today and speak to everybody in here. I got the email as an Excite member to explain to me that they were the potential was to close the Broxburn swimming pool. I was quite distressed about this because, you know, it's used by lots of swimming clubs. There's 12,000 children on the Learn to Swim, 1,200, sorry. Children that are learning to swim through the programme. There's, there's a full programme from the babies to the great grannies, with a lady in her 90s still goes. Now, what this would mean to the pool, obviously, is that jobs would be going for the staff. There's the whole community uses it, and the GPs are still referring people today for health benefits to go to the pool and use the facilities. Myself, I was one of these GP referrals as I had a heart attack and I had to have surgery to fix my heart. So I know from a very personal experience, going swimming has actually helped me to regain my heart function by 10%. It was quite poorly at the time. At the end of the day, it's been suggested that people who use Broxburn swimming pool have a bus who would get to the nearest pool, which would take them 15 minutes. Well, I don't drive. So for people like myself that are there on a health referral, it is not possible to get to the nearest pool. Winchborough, as we all heard, has no bus service, so that is not an option. There's not an option for us that live in Broxburn, absolutely, to go anywhere, because Livingston is closing. That would be the nearest one, so they're under threat the same as we are. So I would ask people to think very carefully about people's health and well-being. A public health issue issued recently was to address how to prevent people from being socially isolated and suffer from loneliness, because people use the pool also to socialise. I've also had a meeting which was attended by over 100 people from Broxburn, Uphall and the surrounding areas, and I have here a petition with over 1,000 signatures from the people within the community to keep our pool open. I also spoke to the police about this, and they said we need more amenities, not less. So they would support us, you know, to keep our pool open. It is vital, and people's lives absolutely depend on it. Children, it's not just a hobby, it's a life-saving skill, and they really need that. And that's, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much. You've been very succinct and very deep in your concerns for Broxburn Pool. Now, as has been explained, members can ask you questions, Joyce.
Thank you.
Councillor Campbell.
Thanks very much, Joyce, and well done for coming here today, and congratulations on the really successful meeting that you instigated last week. I think for me, well, there are a number of issues, but for me, hearing you speak today, the benefits to health, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, particularly from older people, as a result of GP referrals, is of absolute vital importance if we're going to keep people healthy in Broxburn. How important do you feel that is, and how do you value your GP referral and the fact that you've been able to swim in Broxburn as a result of that?
There is absolutely no doubt about it. I was very, very fortunate that I survived my heart attack, so much that I was being considered for, for further investigation. I've had extensive tests and I was very, very poorly. And I know that going to Broxburn swimming pool, on a daily basis, my heart has actually increased by 10%. So that is massive to me. And I know there's other people who are waiting on hip replacements, knee replacements. There's people there who have had transplants and all different things. So from a health perspective, you cannot put a price on that.
No, I would agree, and thank you for sharing that with us. I'm aware that there are a number of older people who use the pool during the day, including, as you've said, I think there's a 90-year-old lady who's used it almost since it was built, to be honest. So the positive impact of socialisation must be something that you have considered as well. How important do you feel that is to this community?
Absolutely vital, because some people, live on their own, and that might be the only outlet that they've got. And, a lot of people go there to socialise, and it's so well used that sometimes when you book into the system and you want to go to a class, sometimes you can't get in because the classes are so popular and they're so busy.
And again, you raised it yourself, but what we've heard from this council is that alternative provision could be Winchborough Pool, and it's a super pool, newly opened. However, we've also just had a debate about bus services in Winchborough. So how is that going to impact on you and other people who do not drive?
Well, we're not going to get there. It's not going to happen. And some people would not be fit to walk there. It would be far too long for some people to actually get there. And some folk are recovering from surgery, so they really need it.
So what you're saying really is that the alternative provision that's been suggested is not really a viable alternative?
100% it is not viable.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Joyce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Boyle.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. And I was at the public meeting the other night, and I know that you're sitting there and you're speaking on behalf of the community. Right? Have you been up to the swimming pool in Winchborough?
Not yet, no.
No, right. So that's
because I can't get there.
Yeah, thank you. You can't get there. How many groups do you think would be able to move up there?
I think for some people, but for children, what about kids that just want to go for a swim? What about kids, that's part of their thing. They meet at their clubs. There's a triathlon club that goes there, and the head coach is quite upset about this, because at the heart of the community, you have to think about the future generations. Well, how would you feel if a child couldn't get to the pool? And kids are kids, and I've had 4, so I know about them. So they can't get to a swimming pool, right? The parents can't take them for whatever reason. Kids are kids. We have a big canal. What about kids that think, oh, it's a bit hot today, I'll just jump in the canal and I'll go for a swim? And that's because kids didn't think like we do. They didn't think of the dangers in that canal. They just want to go and have fun with their friends, and they'll do it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Joyce. It was good to hear the views that you put forward. I think it's really important that we hear communities when they speak out on such important issues. Can I ask if, and we don't know if this is possible as yet, but if there was modifications made to allow public use of the swimming pool at Broxburn Academy, would that, do you think, address some of your concerns?
Absolutely not. We spoke at the public meeting that I held the other night, and there wasn't anybody in the room that thought that was a viable option. Broxburn Academy pool is older than Broxburn swimming pool, and I think the logistics of how many hours it would be allowed to be open for all the different groups that use Broxburn swimming pool, I can't see that that's a viable option.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Councillor Angela at Dorn Timson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Joyce, for coming along today, and thank you, as Tony has said, for organising the public meeting. It was great to see so many members of the public supporting what you had arranged. The question, it's on the back of what Councillor Sullivan said. Now, at our last meeting, I had suggested that we look at provision of Broxburn Academy, and I know that I was told on Thursday evening to read the room that people didn't want the Broxburn Academy provision. However, if that was something that was looked at, model change of timing to get in and out of the pool. I know that it's not a huge big pool, but do you think in the short term, for a short term solution, as I think someone actually mentioned at the meeting on Thursday, to look at long term plans, do you think that the public would maybe welcome that and receive that well, in a short term proposal?
As a short-term answer, it is possible, but my concern is Broxburn swimming pool has a baby pool, and I think that would be hugely missed. And I think people with young babies, I don't think they would feel confident enough to take a newborn infant effectively. And a big pool, I can't see it, and I know that it's not what people want. I know what people are, I'm only telling you what people are telling me, and I could categorically say everybody that I have spoken to does not support Broxburn Academy as an option.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to just speak about was around, I think it was our local MP had said that she had been speaking to some developers and businesses at looking at building a new swimming pool. Has anything came forward from the local MP? Has she came back to us to say anything?
No. Not as yet, but I have another meeting. We're having a working group, and we're meeting tomorrow night for the first time, so we'll be taking names and interested parties and looking at the way forward.
That's great, Joyce, because I know that the thing that the MP had said was, looking at building a new swimming pool in Broxburn, and for short-term solution to use the Broxburn Academy. So it was just really to find out if you had heard anything back, because I mean this is a really pressing issue. It's really important, and we need to get to work on it right away. But thank you so much, Joyce, for coming along. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very. No, it's all right. It's all right, Joyce. Are there any further questions? Okay. Can I thank you very much for coming along. You've got 2 minutes to sum up.
Well, hopefully I've given everybody something to think about in looking at the future for Broxburn as a community. And please think very carefully before you make the vote to shut the pool, because our community depends on you, the people that we elect for us. You're our voice. You're the voice of us, the people, the little people that can't be heard. I feel really passionately, and I just appeal to you to think very carefully for the future of the pool and for the community of Broxburn and the surrounding areas. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Joyce. And we've all been struck by your very extensive research, gathering the petition. And I'd like to thank you for coming along, and your patience today, and that of your husband, I'm guessing. Your partner or your friend, or for having waited for the best part of 3 hours. Our governance manager will advise you now as to what to do with your petition.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't give it to a councillor is the message. Make sure you give it to a council officer if you want it to be taken further. So if you want to hand it over to committee services or to me today, then we'll apply our rules about it and someone will get back in touch with you.
Okay.
Could a committee services officer please approach Joyce and take it from her? And can I thank you very much, and safe journey home.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Let me take a 10-minute break. 10 minutes. Yeah, I think it would be appropriate if we came back at 3:05. It's been a long day for officers, comfort break, whatever else.